You know, unfortunately with the heavyweights, you never know what's going to happen. Or fortunately, depending on what your preference is.
He brings this a ring record of 16.
As I say, Ziausys is very experienced, 63 fights, 62 fights all around Europe. Boxed anywhere and everywhere. Been over boxed in this country before. Been in with some good fighters. Alexander Kotalabi, Giacomo Fragamani, the former European cruiserweight champion. He's been in with some good fighters.
And the prize fighter champion in the year at 208. Please welcome to the ring from Norwich, Sam Sexton. 6 3-minute round of boxing, and your referee is Mr. Curtis.
Now with heavyweight, because these guys are bigger, do they get tired quicker?
Yeah, it depends on their style of fighting. I mean, you certainly won't see the jumping around and the bouncing about. It'll be a lot slower. You know, literally just because they're bigger, they can't physically drag their frames around like the lighter boys do. You know, there's Sexton's certainly got good footwork. He's got the ability to bounce about, but for him to do that for 4 rounds, 6 rounds, 8 rounds, it's just not physically possible. Very few big men can do stuff like that, you know. As I say, I mean, he's nimble enough on his feet for a big guy. Good start from Sexton there. He's going to look to keep poking that jab out, keep the other guy on the outside. Good lead hooks there, double lead hook. Ziausys doesn't look too phased at the moment, to be perfectly honest with you. He's got a nice tight defence there, but he doesn't look too phased. He looks like he's come here to have a go.
Would you say that Sexton's got this one in the bag, or do you reckon it's going to be a...
Well, as I say, I mean, I'm expecting him to win. I'm expecting him to win. Let's make no bones about it. It's his first fight back. It's not going to be too dangerous. He's not going to be in there against someone who potentially is going to stop him. But you know, it should be a good workout for him. They're basically going to be looking to get a few rounds under their belt now, because he's had such a long time out. Sexton, he's going to want to go and do 4 or 6 rounds. You know, just get a bit of work out there. Just feel comfortable. You know, get back to doing what he does best. Good work there from Sexton, finishing off with a jab again, which is always nice. Again, to me, Sexton just looks content to coast along at the minute. He knows he's comfortably winning the rounds. He just wants to get a couple of rounds under the belt. You know, Ziausys really isn't offering much resistance at the moment. He's got a tight defence and he's having the occasional pot shot, 2s and 3s there like he did. But you know, to me, at any time really, Sexton could get on the front foot and pretty much get this guy out of there really. But
it's looking like a walk in the park for Sexton, really. He's just sort of...
Yeah, it is. Yeah, as I say, it's a pretty safe match, but that's to be expected after being out for so long and coming off a defeat last time out. So you know, as I say, it's just literally like one game for Manchester. That's what this fight is for, really. Yeah, but as I say, I mean, he's took a few decent shots, Ziausys. He doesn't look too unfazed by it at the moment. That's good work there from Sexton. Little screw shot followed by the jab. Nice one too. Yeah, Sexton's round all the way for me.
Isn't this a great night on sportsface.tv? I think that Sam Sexton's too big, too heavy, too experienced for this other guy, whose name I can't pronounce. But I have to say, he's showing a lot of courage, the other fighter, and it looks as if he's going to be very difficult to get rid of because he has a lot of resolve and he hasn't been moved yet, and he's taken some really big shots.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, just as I say. I mean, experience-wise, the other guy's sort of leagues above Sam, but boxing's all about levels, you know. It's level skill-wise, talent-wise, Sam's obviously a better fighter, but as I say, it's a nice, safe match for him. He's coming back after 13 months. It's to be expected, really.
In boxing, it's a safe match for him. But you never know in boxing, you know, he can cop a lucky punch and go down. But I think, as you say, it's a safe fight for him. It's nice for Sam Sexton to get back and have a good workout fight.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we'll see whether Sexton ups the work rate this time, whether he feels comfortable enough to let his hands go a little bit more. He should do. I mean, to say, he's levels above this guy, to be honest. Good shot. Nice work there from Sexton. Good variety there. Body, head, body. But again, as I say, Ziausys has come back. I mean, there's not really a lot of quality in his work, but he's letting his hands go. He doesn't look too phased by it. You know, looks like a tough guy. Looks like a tough guy. Nice tight defence. I mean, in fairness to him, he is blocking a lot of these shots on his gloves. He's got a nice tight guard. He's blocking a lot on his arms and gloves. A few jabs from Sexton are getting through, but it's, you know, he's not really stepping forward with it. He's not putting too much pop behind it. He's just content to keep Ziausys at arm's length. As I say, pretty much. I mean, he's levels above the other guy. The other guy, he's going to have the occasional pot shot just to try and stay in it, just to try and stay competitive. But, you know, it's all Sexton. I mean, I'd like to see maybe a touch more variety from Sexton, maybe a few more body shots, a few uppercuts when Ziausys covers up like he does there. You know,
just to mix it up a bit.
Yeah, just to mix it up a bit, give him something different to think about. When he gets put under pressure on the ropes there, Ziausys, it goes into a crouch, the head comes forward. Sexton should be looking to bring the shots up the middle, the uppercuts up the middle. See, when he just crouches forward like that, you know, Sexton's just content to just keep popping the straight shots, the jab, the straight right hand, throwing the occasional body shot in there, but, you know, maybe a little bit more variety. Say, because, you know, Ziausys could get lucky with one of these pot shots in a minute and land Sexton right on the chin, and, you know, it could be good night. I doubt it very much, but as we say, with the heavyweights, you just don't know.
You never know.
I mean, if I was in Sexton's corner, I would be saying to him, "Come on, Sam. You know, we need to get this guy out of here now. Your level's above him. Up the work rate. You know, get him out of there. Let's have a nice early night.
Get in bed with a cup of tea.
Yeah, something like that."
I think he probably would have more chance of doing that if he went downstairs a bit. He's been going for the head most of the fight, and the guy's got good defence. I think perhaps, you know, down in the body would be the way of maybe getting rid of him, but he's showing a lot of resolve. But as you say, at the moment it's a good safe fight for Sam Sexton and a good workout for him.
Yeah, totally agree with you there, Jesse. He's getting a little bit one-dimensional, Sexton. It's just the straight shots, just a jab, right hand, jab, right hand. And the other guy, as I say, he's blocking a lot of that on his gloves and arms, taking them high on the forehead, which, you know, you're not really going to trouble someone. It's the toughest part of the skull. You know, Sexton does need a little bit more variety there. Yeah, well picked up.
But the opponent is showing a lot of bottle, as we say.
Oh, definitely. As I say, these guys, he's had 62 fights. He's been a pro since 2006. I'm looking at his record here. He's been to Poland, he's been to Italy, to Lithuania, to Latvia, to Ireland, to England. He's literally been all over the place. I think he's
what
been
you
to
call a journeyman, a bit of a journeyman.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
He's been fighting so long. I was in the charts when he started.
I don't think he's been fighting that long, Jeff.
Oh, nice work. Should we give him the gloves?
Give him the gloves.
But yeah, these guys are really tough. You know, they don't do what they do. They're virtually professional opponents. They come here to take the home fighters a few rounds. That's what they do, and they're very professional at it. This guy, as we say, looks like a tough guy. Not a lot of resistance. You know, not a lot of shots coming back from him. But taking Sexton the rounds.
So it'd be interesting to see if Sexton's
Good right hand there.
trainers told him what you were just saying, lay in there, go for it.
Yeah, again, I mean, he started this round with a little bit more intent. He's let the right hand go a few times, and he started to land a few more clean shots. Good footwork there from Sexton. Now that's a bit more like it. Again, I'm saying like the previous fight there, 2s and 3s. Once you start to throw your punches in combinations, especially if you target the body, you'll pull the elbows down, you'll leave a bit more room for the head shots to come in. So you want to put the body and then come back with the head shots.
He's well on top now, and it's getting slightly uncomfortable to watch, although the boy's still fighting back. The good thing about it is that we've seen no blood, and I mean that in a nice way. To see somebody cut now would not be what I'd like to see. I'd like to see him knock him out clean, or the ref to stop it pretty soon, because he's taking a lot of punishment. Although it's probably too early to actually call it off.
Yeah, I mean, for me, as I say, it's one-sided. It's pretty much as one-sided a fight as you're going to see. But that said, Ziausys, he's blocking a lot of the stuff. He's taking it high on the head. He's blocking it with the hands and arms. So, the referee.
Oh, he knows how to look after himself.
Yeah.
He's been around a long time, and his defence is fantastic. But I think he's too light, too short.
Yeah,
all the usual things.
Yeah. So it's been a good workout for Sexton so far. He's certainly been busy. He hasn't been lazy. He's not blowing at all yet. He's certainly, he's thrown quite a lot of punches. Hasn't had a lot of pressure coming back, which is what tends to tire you out a little bit more. But no, I'm fairly impressed with Sexton's work tonight. That's what he needs to be doing there. Just through the left hook to the body there. Just needs to be doing a little bit more. Just a little bit more. Bring the elbows down and come back with the headshots.
Frank, do you reckon this is going to lead to a knockout?
Looking at it at the moment, I'd be surprised, to be perfectly honest with you. Ziausys does know how to cover up very well. I'd be surprised if he stops him, but I think if he starts to put a bit more variety in his work, he'll definitely be on the cards. But if it carries on following this pattern, he'll probably see the end out, Ziausys.
I have to say, if the opponent's family are watching him across the seas, I have to say he's a very, very brave boy, and he's putting up a good fight. He's really having a go, and he's what they call, he's really earning his money tonight. He's not gone down and done a moody. He's fighting, and he's trying to win the fight, which is very, very credible.
Toughest game in the world, Jess, to be honest with you, mate. Toughest game in the world. These boys in the away corner, they're the ones that don't get pampered. I mean, I think he's from Lithuania, the lad. He's probably flown over yesterday, maybe even today. Straight from Luton Airport, straight down here, weighed in, maybe had an hour or two to relax and have something to eat, get in here and do this, and he'll probably be on the flight home tomorrow. It's a tough one for him.
Probably flew by EasyJet, he got upgraded, he got a seat.
First class and easy, lucky boy.
Again, start of the fourth now. See whether Sexton changes his tactics a little bit, goes with a bit more body work. To say, he may well be happy to just coast through, get the 6th round under his belt, come back with a nice easy win. Get a bit of fitness work in the tank. I mean, it's not a particularly tough fight. He could be out again in another 6 weeks, 2 months, rather than 6 months of a tough fight. So probably needs the rounds, but as I say, if I was in the corner, I wanted to get this kid out of there, to be honest.
Well, it's very one-sided now, I think. We can't say it's a disappointing fight. It's not as good as the other two. The bonuses, it's great to see a star name like Sam Sexton fighting, but it is somewhat one-sided. Still enjoyable for the fight fans because the opponent is still in there giving his all.
Ziausys to me looks like he's starting to tire a little bit. I've seen him take a few gulps of air. A couple of times the hands have dropped a little bit, so you know, possibly a stoppage could be on the cards if they carry on in this fight. There you go. I mean, you never saw that at all. You never saw the hands there low like that in the first 3 rounds at all. He's dropped his hands a couple of times. You know, Sexton's certainly sharp enough to tag him from the outside with a big shot if he drops his hands like that. If he wants to get through it, he's going to have to keep that nice tight guard like it is now. And that's what tends to happen when you start to get a bit tired. Naturally, the hands just drop. You're not mentally as focused as you was when the fight first started. You know, you're not quite on the game plan, so the hands will start to drop.
He just had to shake his hands out there, but didn't he?
Yeah.
They start to seize up after a while.
I think that was a bit of showmanship from him, to be honest.
Oh, really?
Yeah, to me, that looked like he was trying to say to Sexton, come on, you got nothing.
I thought he was just bending his arms.
No, to me...
He was what they call showboating, and he's getting well beat, but it's wonderful to see it because what he's saying there is, you're not hurting me. And from where I'm sitting, he certainly is.
I think he must have been watching Britain's Best Journeyman. Johnny Greaves is the king of the showboat. My brother, who I trained, my younger brother, literally is the king of the showboat. I mean, he'll show Muhammad Ali how to do a shuffle. He really is the king of the showboat.
And you train your brother down at the Peacock Gym, don't you?
That's correct, yeah. Can be quite difficult at times, but I wouldn't change it for the world.
Training family. That's like trying to teach your mum or your brother to drive the car, so we just end up pulling each other's hair out.
Things do get tense, shall we say, on the odd occasion. But,
and in a ring.
Yeah, you know, I mean, in the ring, it's on fight night, he gets in there, he does what he needs to do, and he comes through. As I say, he's a good journeyman. Pretty much similar to Ziausys. They're professional tough guys. They know what they're doing. They know how to look after themselves. You know. So I think we've got 2 more rounds to go here, 5 and 6, I believe. I'd like to see Ziausys make the final bell. Probably already. He's got work lined up for next week or the week after or the week after.
And you can travel all over the world with boxing. It's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. You never know where the phone's going to ring, as I say. I mean, he's Lithuanian. He's probably got the call a week ago to come over here. Maybe even short. You know,
a bit like acting, Jess.
No, I mean, some of these, he's not really a journeyman, but some of these guys understand earn more money than some of the names, because as Frank says, they're always in work.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, taking my brother as a case in point, he's been a pro for 4 years, he's had 70 fights. You know, he's done well there. You know, they do well for themselves, they're all right. But, you know, as I say, Ziausys, professional tough guy, good tight defence. I'd like to see him make the final bell now, to be honest with you. Still looks like he's got a little bit of a spring in his step. The hands are coming back up again. Now, listening to the corner there, and they're imploring Sexton to put them together. They're trying to get him to throw punches in combinations rather than just that single jab.
Oh, this is what you were talking about earlier.
Yeah. Their corner are just to the right of me here, and I've just overheard it, as I say. Put them together. They want them to fight in combinations, they want a bit more variety in the work. Sometimes the fighters get in there and they go into autopilot almost. They just do what they do, they go in there, don't really think too much about what they're doing. Little switch of stances there from Sexton. Switch southpaw for a few seconds, haven't seen him do that before.
And when the guys are fighting, do they ever see red? You know, when guys can, just get really in the moment and just, are they always in control?
No. I mean, obviously it depends on the fighter's personality, but yeah, it does happen on the odd occasion that a fighter absolutely loses his rag. I mean, we've seen fighters headbutt others and deliberately punch and blow, in the family jewel. So yeah, it can happen at any time, to be honest with you. Sometimes, I mean, there's fighters that will get in there and they'll speak to each other and they'll say, you're not hitting that hard, or you punch like a woman. They throw all sorts of stuff in there,
Fighting talk.
Yeah, again, I mean, if you're an opponent like Ziausys, I'm sure if he could speak English, he would be trying to wind. I'm sure he'd be trying to wind Sexton up by talking to him and telling him that nothing, just to make Sexton line up there and see the punches coming a little bit better. It's hard when you've got a fighter in front of you who just stays focused on his job and he just kicks jab. It's hard like that sometimes. It's nice to wind him up. Another little burst there from Ziausys. Sexton not troubled by that in the slightest. Doesn't look like he's particularly heavy-handed, Ziausys. Has got 9 stoppages on his record, but know, I think a lot of them have come in light heavyweight and cruiserweight. He's not going to trouble Sam Sexton tonight.
You know, Frank, I don't know whether the fans would be slightly upset that he hasn't got rid of this guy, and he's making hard work of it.
It's a big right hand there, from Sexton. Wobbling. He's got him under pressure now. The stoppage could be coming. He needs to just pick his punches. Again, a little bit more showboating.
Again.
Is that what the little arm display is?
And you know, one must say whether Sam Sexton should have got rid of him. Should have got rid of him earlier on. But he probably takes the view that I need to do a few rounds. I need to get a good workout. Nice opponent. I wouldn't say it's an easy night's work because they both work very hard. But in the fight game, it probably was.
Totally agree with you, Jeff. Totally agree, as I say. I mean, to me, it doesn't look like Sexton's that fussy about really stepping up the work rate and getting him out.
Yeah.
Even there, he clearly wobbled him with that overhand right, backed him onto the ropes, let a few shots go, but let him out of there pretty easily. So, to me, he looks like he's content to just get him around under his belt,
you're probably right.
do the work, and then move on to the next fight.
And I think we're going to have Charlie George come and chat to us in the next interview, so that'll be interesting to get his view. Started this round a little bit better, Sexton. Getting a little bit of a burst there. And also it'd be good to remind our viewers at home that they can tweet into you, can't they? And we'd like to hear, you know, you guys' views at home on what you're thinking of the bouts tonight. Yeah, they certainly can. The Twitter address is @FrankGreaves. I think I've had a couple come through. You know, a couple of people saying they're enjoying the show. We'll have a look through in a minute. Oh, we've had Alfie's sister tweet in. Ruby, just wanted to say how proud I am of my big brother Alfie winning his first pro fight. Hope you liked him. Fantastic. Nice. We loved Alfie. Brilliant. A little nod of appreciation from Sexton there. One of the shots must have got through because he just acknowledged it. Looked like a right uppercut from Ziausys. Had a little nod from Sexton. So. So pretty much, you know, same pattern as the previous 5 rounds. He's content, Sexton. He's going to fight in little bursts, but he's content to just win the fight on the jab. Keep things nice and easy, as I say. I mean, he's in there. He can feel whether Ziausys has got the power to potentially trouble him. He probably feels totally comfortable in there at the moment. You know. And I notice when he's looking, he's sort of looking down. So what's the key? Where do you look when you're boxing? Because one's looking at his eyes and he's looking down. Sexton's looking straight ahead. Well, Ziausys is looking down because he's trying to watch Sexton's gloves. He's trying to watch Sexton's keeping his gloves really low. The lead hand is low, the back hand's low at the moment. Ziausys is keeping his guard nice and high at all times. So Sexton's watching his gloves that are nice and high. He's watching Sexton's gloves that are low. That's why it looks like he's looking down. Okay. That's good feet there from Sexton. Moves well. What's to say? For a big man, he moves quite well. Comfortable win for Sexton there. Comfortable. Won that by all 6. Clear. We're now joined by Charlie George. How are you doing tonight, Charlie?
Legend from Arsenal, Charlie George, a great fight fan and an all-round good fellow. What do you think of the fights tonight, George?
absolutely tremendous. I mean, the second fight, the young lad was his first pro fight, absolutely amazing. And the lad in the other corner, two very strong. You didn't know which way it was going, but absolutely tremendous.
3 good fights. I mean, this one's a bit one-sided, but it's good to see a big name like Sam Sexton fighting in a small venue like this.
Yes, well,
and the fans like to see heavyweights, don't they, Charlie?
Absolutely. I mean, the small venues are probably the best venues in the world. I mean, you go back to the old York Hall years ago when I used to go. But,
no, I'd sooner see a fight in a smaller room myself.
Absolutely tremendous. It's not all about seeing the top fighters. It's about seeing fighters that progress.
Yeah.
What are your views about it going out tonight on people's phones, on the internet? What are your views on that?
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. It's fantastic. You know, everything's different to how the old days, as we know. So, you know, if you can put it out there, people can see you, and you've got a chance.
And Charlie George must have fans all over the world, and now they can see you and hear you. It's fantastic.
I've got about 3 at the moment, just so.
That's one more than me.
Ladies and gentlemen, to show appreciation for Remigijus.
Fantastic evening. Pleasure to talk to you. Have a great evening. Thanks very much.
The legend that is Charlie George, Arsenal. He played in my showbiz football team, and he's a great boy. He does a lot for charity. We played the SAS, and Jim Davidson arranged it because he loves the SAS, so we went up to Shropshire somewhere, and Charlie George played for them, but he couldn't score past me because every time he came near me to score, I gave him my grin, and he couldn't see where the ball was going. So with my smile, I blinded him.
Brilliant, I love your stories. Right, next up, we've got Mickey Coveney. Now find out more about him, he's going to be in the next bout.